And it's the big day, folks. Welcome to the Q&A 9. It's over 9,000 review or video. It's not a review, it's a video. And yeah, it's the same principle as any other Q&A. I'm just gonna go down the list, read off the questions, and go from there. And we got a fair few. These tend to go over an hour. Maybe I'll see if I can keep it under an hour. But anyway, so let's just get into it. I'm just gonna answer your questions best I can. So Grim Games just says, how could his power level be this high? Impossible! Is he one of the legends? Well, thank you for that. Let's be clear. In the grand scheme of YouTube, I am nowhere near that. Even some of the people who have like up to 1 million subscribers, I don't know if you could call them, they do very well, but they're not one of the people who have like millions of subscribers. That's where you get into that status. But I thank you for the compliment regardless. Zombie4356, congratulations on 9K subs. Thank you very much. Question: have you ever thought of selecting one story from www.fanfiction.net and reading it on your channel? I've never really thought. I mean, the idea of fanfictions come up a lot from. I think someone else has asked that question later on the down the line. The idea of me doing fanfiction or something fanfiction related has come up a lot on the channel, and that stems from obviously doing my what ifs, and people usually think I do a pretty good job with the what ifs. I've never considered taking a fanfic story and reading it for the channel, and that's due mostly to the fact that that's a very long and hefty endeavor, because particularly the fanfics I like, just one chapter is a really long chapter. So if I were to do that, that would take a lot. Plus, if you've never noticed in my what ifs, hell, if you ever noticed in any of my videos, even later on in this video today, I do tend to, when I talk for extended periods of time, run over my words a little bit, even when I'm trying to pace myself. And that just comes from a slight speech impediment I've had as a kid. I had to take like language classes as a kid to help compensate for my inability to pronounce things due to the fact I have a very large tongue. I'm not going to do the tongue thing right, but I have a large tongue, and therefore I had to try to enunciate better. And extended talking for that period of time while reading too. I have to focus on reading, which you think would make it easier, but the fact is my mind and my mouth don't always keep up with each other. So at least for right now, I mean, it's an idea for down the road, maybe, but I had to pick the right fan fiction. And like I said, a lot of the ones that I do like to read when I do on occasions read a fan fiction are lengthy in just one chapter. So that thing could run 30 to 40 minutes just on the one chapter. So, or one part. So yeah, an idea for the future, for somewhere down the road, maybe, but not right now. Okay. Adia. Oh God, I have you in my books, but let me try not to butcher your name. Adia Batachara. Forgive me if I butchered that. Congratulations on the 9K sub. Also, what if Naruto and Sasuke what if Naruto and Sasuke was not able to escape? You probably meant were not able to escape the Infinite Tsukuyomi, or better yet, Sasuke was not fast enough to save Team 7 from the Infinite Tsukuyomi. Well, obviously, like I said, well, thank you for the compliment on congratulating me on the 9K subs. As I said, what ifs and who would wins, I'll give you my briefest take on them, but I'm not doing a full one in this video. So that's been added. But what if Naruto and Sasuke were not able to escape the Infinite Tsukuyomi, or if Sasuke was not able to save Team 7, they'd be screwed. Because they were not immune to the Infinite Tsukuyomi. The only thing that saved them was Sasuke's Susanoo shielding him from the light. And otherwise, it's very much implied that, nope, they were not immune to that. They would have been taken down. So there's your end. Kaguya wins at that point because Sasuke cannot beat her on his own. That was a very big. Now, I guess in theory you can make a scenario where he is either able to snap Naruto out of it somehow. Honestly, I mean, because Naruto still has the fox in him too. So between Sasuke and the fox, maybe he's able to snap him out of it. But that's a lot of speculative. I'd have to really think on that about whether or not he could do that. So if he couldn't snap Naruto out of it, they were screwed. There's your long and short of it. Congratulations on reaching 9K subs from Shadows82. Thank you. Nat and Najax 1S question: just how long is your list of what ifs to do? Now, I saw this, and I've seen other people bring this up. This is a very good time to kind of illustrate some of this. So, the way I take down the notes for what ifs and who would wins, or I have notebooks. I have just a standard notebook like this. This is the who would win one. This is the what if one. Now, you'd think there's so much room in there, right? You know, it's thick. I wouldn't have to like redo it. And usually, when I fill up one of these books, I then redo the book. I then basically redo redo. I basically buy a new one and then transcribe everything to a new one. So how many what ifs do I? Excuse me. Just how long is my list of what ifs to do? Well, let me put it this way to you. I'm not going to just scan through this, but let me tell you where I've currently stopped in this relatively long book. So I am currently here in the book of what ifs. Everything you see in that's what ifs from so many people right there. I have about this much left. This is why I like the week of what if and who is so important, because it helps me get through more of these faster. Because the what ifs go on forever sometimes. I'm starting the next new Dragon Ball one this Saturday, and yes, it's a Dragon Ball only because that's the one that comes up in the list. Now, there's another question that's going to be brought up later on where I will explain how it kind of goes about me choosing the what if, but for now, and the who would win. But for now, yeah, that's how many I got. You know what? I'm not going to actually count it, but in terms of actual suggestions I could go off of, got 1,000 or so. Not joking whatsoever. So there you go. But that's because I like to include you guys in the channel. So yeah, there you go. Super Mew 9001 asked, 1, how long does it take you to make a who would win episode, and how long should we expect to wait for suggesting the fight if it being an actual episode? Perfect timing. So it all depends on the combatant. If it's someone I have to go into some in-depth research on that I'm not familiar with, and then have to go into a lot of explanation on how exactly they compare to the opponent. Our average who would win is somewhere between maybe 8 to 15 minutes. An in-depth who would win goes on for about 20 some odd minutes. But now this brings up what I also brought up. So basically the who would win and the what if scenario, in fact, all my videos, Lantern Corp, Pokemon, all those, are a first come first served basis. Now you may be thinking, well, I just came in and I brought my suggestion in a couple weeks ago. That's all great, but understand, I've been taking requests since 2013. And let's also be clear, the people from 2013 who may not even watch my channel anymore, may just be subscribed for the sheer lulz of it, are still in here and will still get their requests done. So let's put it this way. And there's another person that I will be addressing later on who's been asking a similar question. So for anyone who's most recently given me a request who is not already in my notebook. So for instance, I'll just name one person randomly. Michael Bell recently asked about Shao Kahn versus Bane. You're not, so actually, you know what? Oh, sorry, we won't use that. We'll use we'll use Super Mew yourself. So where are you in here? I know. Oh, there we go. So Super Mew, you are right here. And keep in mind too, anyone who is like in the front book who's been had videos done in the last couple months, you're still in here and your requests are still there. But remember, I'm trying to do a full cycle so everyone gets a fair shot, which means unless your requests have overlapped, it's going to take a while for me to get back to you, especially with more and more people suggesting things. The more people suggest things, the longer it is going to take for me to get through everything, which again is why the week of who would win is so damn important, because it lets me get through a huge amount of them quick, especially if people are repeating suggestions. But yeah, Super Mew, you're like way in the back there. So I had already done one of yours a while ago, if I'm not mistaken, maybe. I could be wrong on that. admittedly. No, actually, I take it back. I do take it back. I don't think I've done one of yours recently. But that said, that said, it's not like no one's review or request is ever going to get done. It's just a matter of first come, first serve kind of thing. So right now, I'm there in the book. And it's kind of I guess we'll call it a book. So it's going to take a while to get, at least for yours, it is going to take a while, but don't fret. I'm not forgetting you or anything like that. I'm just think words. It's just going to take a while. Now, I'm sure a lot of people might suggest, well, you could do a Patreon and stuff like that. And the problem with doing a Patreon isn't the idea of doing Patreon. Patreon is a great idea. It'll support the channel, brings a little money towards me and Mark, especially because we're not monetized at the moment. We're not making any money off this thing. But at the same time, it's one of those things where, what could I offer with Patreon? The best I could offer is, because I'll do a birthday. I've actually done a few times, people asking for a birthday shout out who would win. That I have no problem doing. So I guess with a Patreon, I wouldn't make it a huge thing or anything. I wouldn't like charge $20 or $50 or high tier stuff for that. I'd have to that would be another problem. Besides, people asking me to do the who would win specifically at that point, I can't think of anything I can offer on the channel at this time where it'd be worth higher tiers. So it's not like Patreon's not an option. It's just, this went into how long we can expect to a Patreon question. But anyway, yeah, there you go. That's basically it. But thanks for the question. Michael Douglas, congratulations on 9K and reaching 900K, 9,900K subs, 9K subs. Is there any other what if series you would consider doing in the future? Oh, sure. Did you not see the thickness of this? Now, what I think you mean by that is besides Naruto and Dragon Ball. And absolutely, I've done a couple already. There is at least one Bleach one I've done where what if Kenpachi had a Shikai and Bankai from the beginning. I've done a few Pokemon ones. There's just some straight anime based ones too. So I've done them. But the thing is, the vast bulk of the suggestions I get are Dragon Ball Z and Naruto based. That said, it's not even, and the only reason I've yet to do like my hero what ifs, is that they don't come up very often, or they haven't come up a huge amount in the book. Like I said, first come, first serve. I have to go through the whole thing. But also because the series is still ongoing. Now, the series does seem to be wrapping up now. I mean, it's still probably going to be going on for about a year or so, but it is wrapping up. We know that. So, eventually we're going to get to the point where we will get to more My Hero what ifs. We still got to have the final quirk of One for All revealed. So, until at least that's revealed, I'm not going to immediately do anything. But also, I don't want to get to the point where, all right, I have to wait for the story to continue for me to do the what if, because then I got to wait on that, and that's irritating as hell. And I don't want to be like and I know Masako does what ifs. He's done like several beyond 2 at one time, and it kind of got like a little difficult to keep track of. But I mean, maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, absolutely, I'm going to be doing more than just Naruto and Dragon Ball what ifs in the future. That's just the bulk of what I get. Eventually, other stuff will come about. Don't worry about that. Usually, you'll see a non-Dragon Ball or Naruto what ifs in the week of what ifs for like my 1 or 2 shot what ifs. That's when you usually see the non-Dragon Ball Naruto ones. The big red Primarch? I'm going to go Primarch. I think that's Primarch. Congratulations on 9K. Thank you. I'm a truck driver. So is my friend of mine. Mark's actually a truck driver. Yeah, he drives, he delivers milk. And I don't mean like, delivering milk door to door. I think places still do that. But, no, I mean like he goes, picks up the milk in a tanker and drives it away to the farm, from the farms. So I'd like to wait until you're done with your what ifs and listen to the whole series while I'm driving. Thanks for keeping me entertained. Absolutely. That's what I'm here for. So 1 of 4. 1, which sci-fi fantasy universe would you like to live in? Oh, that's a very big and broad question. Assuming I got a quirk, the My Hero universe seems fun, but if I didn't get a quirk, I mean, I wouldn't have the Force either, because if we're talking about just me, minus the quirk, that's a good question. I'm guessing Star Trek. Star Trek would be a lot of fun, because you don't have to be superhuman to get around and do stuff in Star Trek. That'd be kind of fun. Who's your most hated fictional character? Ooh, that's a good one. I can think of a fair few fictional characters that really get on my nerves. And unfortunately, I can't think of any one thing I've read out of a book. Manga, sure, but book, no. Bakugo used to really be up there, to be honest, because he's just such an arrogant ass, but the character really starts to grow after a while and stops being that. Mineta, though, never liked Mineta, and I think Mineta is kind of designed not to be liked. I'll be honest, Alan from 2.5 Men, he didn't start out that unlikable. He started out only kind of unlikable, and in a fun way, and he still had a sense of, dignity to him. But as the series progressed, particularly like in the last 2 seasons that I watched, of the Charlie era, and that's just the Charlie era, mind you. He became pretty loathsome. Sheldon, I really dislike Sheldon. Kelso would be up there. And I'm sure there are more, but those are some of my most hated fictional characters. Would you rather fight, this is an age-old question. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 100 duck-sized horses? 100 duck-sized horses. A duck is it does have some mass to it, absolutely, but it's not something that you would be. If it were a swan, it would be especially if it was a horse-sized swan. Oh, screw the hell that. No, I'll take the swan-sized horses. But with the duck-sized horses, all the best they can do is bite and kick, and really they can't even fly at that point. So you could just kick them. So yeah, honestly, it wouldn't end up in a fight either. It would just end up with me just be having feed and just them eating out of my hand and me petting them. And if I were to fight the duck-sized horse, that would actually be a bit more of a difficult challenge, because ducks are bitey. Ducks are very bitey, and that thing could possibly take my head off. But at the same time, I'd probably actually have an easier time killing a beating a duck-sized horse than beating a horse-sized duck than a horse itself, because they have longer necks that are not as muscular and hollow bones. So they're lighter by nature, so I might have an easier time with that. I'll go with 100 duck-sized horses. Number 4, if you could go back in time and slap your younger self in the back of the head, how old would you be and for what? Oh, I can. That's a. I can think of. I can think of maybe 3 different incidents in my life. One involved me just kind of being stupid and kind of making an unnecessary enemy out of a person who I already didn't like and who didn't like me, but I kind of did something stupid. I'm not going to go into what that was. But another one, I ended up hurting a girl when I was around 24, 25. And we hooked up, and I basically turned into that guy where I kind of used and just didn't want to. I kind of used them, and I realized what I did, and I had always sworn I didn't want to become that guy, and I did, and I hated myself for it. And they ended up getting actually in an accident due to the stress. They were fine ultimately, but it kind of messed me up a bit. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ultimately, I am glad for, it's weird to say, I'm glad for what it did, because it helped, focus me in terms of, never do that again, dude. But I might slap myself to prevent that from ever happening, to save them the hassle too. But in terms of, what the hell is wrong with you, you idiot kind of thing, the first girl I ever hooked up with, okay, I will say this. It could have gone farther than where we left off, and in hindsight, I'm like, you effing idiot! You should have go back in there. She wanted to probably do you, dude. So that's where I just kind of go in there and get your freak on, dude. Like, it's like that. So yeah, those are probably the three instances. One of them was a very serious thing. One of them was just me being stupid, and the other one was like, oh my god, you moron. And she was hot too. Like the first girl I ever really hooked up with, she was pretty hot. Um, Still remember her name. I'm not gonna say her name, obviously, but still remember her name. Still remember her. Yeah, she was like good times, good memories. But Philip G just says congratulations, man. Thank you. Phantom of Shadows. Well, congratulations on reaching 9K. How are you doing? Thank you for the congratulations. I'm doing okay. My acid reflux has been actually pretty bad for the last couple of days. It's okay at the moment, fingers crossed. I just gotta continue to eat and keep up on it, and try not to like eat much like acidic food. Like I know I am drinking ginger ale to help it a little bit, but I can't drink too much. I can't just do daily ginger ale just because the ginger is countered by all like the carbonation acid in there. But at the moment, I'm doing well. My girlfriend's out, still out at the island. She's got to do some landlord stuff for her father's, estate, basically. Not real estate, but her property. And everything's fine. I mean, we had a discussion. I'm not going into our personal life or anything, but we had a discussion last night that wasn't the best. But I understand a lot of the problem is on me, so I'm trying to do better with that. But overall, social life, the personal life, all that, doing fine for what it is. So thank you for asking, Phantom Shadows. Sheridan Road, congratulations on breaking Nappa's back with over 9,000 subscribers. Well, you do a lot of training. I think we're actually like at 9,050 some odd right now. With enough training, you too can master the Kaioken. Did I do the Kaioken on my own? It's in my fucking name. To get a little bridge in there. Carson Hinko, are you going to do a What If Orochimaru adopted Naruto? At some point. People suggested it, so at some point. That's basically it. At some point. The Mighty Twins, Tuck and Ella. Question. It's over 9,000. It's over 9,000, actually. That's not a question, but thank you. It is. Question 2. Out of all the DC cartoons, which is your favorite? Oh, the original Batman the Animated Series. Hands down. It's the original Batman the Animated Series. I like Justice League a lot. I like and Justice League Unlimited. I really like Batman Beyond. The Superman, I like the animated Superman show fine. It's one of the few Superman properties I actually did like. Oh, excuse me. The Batman was kind of fun. But no, it's the original Batman the Animated Series. Do you read Marvel and DC comics? Not much anymore. Like, if I'm ever in, like, my New Mary Comics or something like that, or Barnes & Noble, and I see a comic, I still very much love DC and Marvel comics, and will read them occasionally, but yeah, it's not as often as I'd like. Question 4. What is the luckiest character in any show that you saw so far? Any show. Okay, not movies. That is a very good question. Again, going back to 2.5 Men, I mean, Charlie Harper was a pretty lucky SOB. It's a really fair question. Luckiest is a really good question. It's hard. Again, it's kind of difficult to say. There's no one I can think of in TV shows that has a lot of luck-based abilities in terms of, like, powers. Domino was on, was in the X-Men cartoon, so I guess that's a TV show. So Domino has luck powers, basically. But I don't know. I'd say Charlie Harper. Like, yeah, it's like how did he put it in the very first episode? It's like, well, I make a lot of money doing very little. I live in a beautiful beach house on the beach, and I have sex with numerous women who I don't need to have any attachment to. So, I'll just, It's like, yeah. So, yeah, I'd go Charlie Harper, baby. Legend 5643. My favorite, or I'm going to go say it. My favorite What If YouTuber. Thank you. I appreciate it. There's a lot of What If YouTubers out there. So the fact that I'm your favorite, I appreciate that. I really do. That does mean a lot. Sheridan Road. Here's a Reddit question for you. Read PS first. I got it. Of course, I'm going to read it. You were transported into a world of a fictional book as a non-main character with only your clothes and a backpack of supplies and remain for the course of the story. If you die in the book, you die for real. But if anything you can fit anything you can fit in the backpack comes back with you in the real world. Which book do you choose? What supplies do you pack? And what do you do survive / profit from the experience? P.S. This is a long question and likely already long video. You can answer in the comments to save time. I appreciate it, but no, I'll answer it right now. So if I could be in a book series, or it's a fictional book as a non-main character with only my clothes and backpack, obviously I'm not getting any sort of powers or anything like that. That's not a bad question. Again, thinking about all the books I've read in my time. That's I mean, as weird as it would be to say, I could just throw myself into 50 Shades of Grey and just get a job at was it? It's something. Was it Damian Gray or Christian Grey? Christian Grey's a firm and just make a decent amount of money. There you go. I mean, it's a very, very like blasé answer. But if you're gonna ask about like survival, that's a book series. It's basically just the real world, and I'm just working for a kinky motherfucker. So yeah, in terms of like this, okay. Anything and what supplies I bring with me? If I probably bring at least a couple thousand or something like that in terms of money to survive off of. Some just standard food in case I have to live on the street for a while. Change of clothes. Maybe a knife in case someone tries to mug me. Yeah, really, I would just try to get a job at like either like Gray's firm or whatever. Yeah, I mean, now if you want the more fun answer, obviously, I would probably say, honestly, the Harry Potter world works fine with me. I mean, I'm not a wizard or anything like that, unless for some weird reason they deem, like, because Muggles can be wizards. Let's be clear, Muggle-born people can be wizards. So, in theory, I suppose I could have been selected to be a wizard just late in life. Granted, I'm in my 30s now, so that would be very odd. But, I would love to think that, and maybe, as having knowledge of the magic world, maybe I could get a job at Hogwarts. I know enough about the world to be like, I have working knowledge, and I could learn more. And it would give the Muggles an idea of Muggle studies. Honestly, I could teach Muggle studies, explain like how like currency works, all that. And if for some reason, like some kid, like some like Death Eater tries to, wand, hit me with wand, hit me with their wand. If I can just get in close to them, like if this is like a point blank fight and they pull the wand, I just grab the wand, snap it, and then beat the shit out of them. Because most wizards suck at physical combat. Like I think there was one who was a werewolf who obviously would not suck, but take that for what, like Bellatrix Strange. Like, yeah, she's a psychopath, but they're all, when you really break it down, they all suck at physical combat, except for like Quidditch and stuff like that. And even then, it's just riding a broom. So, like except for someone like Hagrid, or again, I don't know the name of the werewolf, but the werewolf, or Lupin when he turns into a werewolf, like, and they all suck at physical combat. So, honestly, if I somehow got involved, I mean, don't get me wrong, I would try to avoid maybe like all the problems going on, all the things going on. But in terms of like the Voldemort stuff, to stay alive, as you said. But if I had to get involved, as long as I could bypass their spells real quick, like just rush and then just take their wand, snap the wand again for like a Death Eater snap wand for a like a Hogwarts kid, just take their wand. But yeah, I mean, and I think that would actually be really fun if I were an actual Muggle working in the school, like some Slytherin punks just trying to mess with me. He's like, all right, duel room right now. It's like, we're gonna duel. You don't even have a wand. No, I don't. No, I don't. So have at it. But because I don't have a wand, I get to fight in my own way. It's like fine. It's like Expelliarmus, almost basically, because when you think about it, a lot of these spells do have a finite shot. All I gotta do is just rush in. It's like Expelliarmus. And then I just basically just have my finger right to his head. It's like, I could have just taken your head clean off right now with one solid punch, but I chose not to. Because A, they frown on teachers beating up kids, and B, you're not worth my time. And just give him the wand back. Yeah. And just basically embarrass like Malfoy right there. And Malfoy said, by the way, if you're considering taking a back shot at me, you'll have to answer to the principal for that. You'll have to answer to Dumbledore for that. So have fun being completely one up, kid. And then so something like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's exactly as it goes. I just think that would actually be kind of fun. And plus, I mean, I would love to actually be like Hagrid, and maybe I'd work with Hagrid on like being like a gamekeeper or something like that. Do like the magical creatures class. I'd love to do that. That'd be awesome. And I really don't have to be magical to do that either. You just have to have knowledge on them. Anyway, though, yeah. So there's my general answer for that, Sheridan. Marcus Kane, Yamamoto versus Hiei. I already put that in there. That's actually a really good question because Hiei is more or less fireproof to some degree. We don't know if there's a limitation to that though. So, because in like the death battle, he survived Amaterasu, though Yamamoto's flames are far hotter than Amaterasu. Like, I still think there's a chance that even Hiei can't take on that level of flame. That said, however, if he could, Yamamoto's Ryojin Jika actually is kind of useless against Hiei, but counterpoint is that Hiei's flames are kind of useless against Yamamoto because Yamamoto's flames are that powerful, quite frankly. And if he's in Bankai, there's no way like Hiei's flames work. And Yamamoto is far older and more experienced than Hiei is. And he's still got speed, Kido, and Zanjutsu swordplay to use. So I'd go still Yamamoto on that fight. But the fact that Hiei is pretty much immune to flame does make that an interesting fight. Who would win? Would Doomsday defeat Goku and Vegeta? Well, I've actually already done it. Who would win with Goku and Doomsday? Add Vegeta into the mix, and the fact that they can, if they absolutely have to use fusion to turn into Gogeta. No, Doomsday does not defeat Gogeta or Vegeta. He does not defeat Goku and Vegeta, I should say. What's your favorite Pokemon generation so far? As it stands right now, my favorite generation, and one day I'll do a video on this, but probably not today. Maybe like next week or something like that. No, probably not next week. Probably more like in the future anyway. It's still Gen 3. To me, for something about Gen 3, when you talk about the story, especially when you look at Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, the graphics, the Pokemon designs, not everything's perfect. I'll actually do a video at some point taking out Pokemon to see where we should actually be in terms of the amount of Pokemon. But the designs, the overall story, like I said, the story, like the evil teams, all that. For some reason, something about that, just the region, something about that just perfectly clicked for me. It just clicked for me. So I've always loved Gen 3. It was the second game on the Pokemon series that I ever got. The first one was actually Silver. I actually never played the original ones. I played the Leaf Green and Fire Red and Leaf Green. I had Leaf Green, Laurel had Fire Red, my sister. So yeah, Gen 3 definitely would probably still be my favorite. After that, that's actually a good question after that, because I've never really wavered on Gen 3 being my favorite. Although, to be frank, like some of the newer generations, in theory, do compete with it. But in the sense that, because they are so much more graphically, advanced, it makes it seem more higher caliber than it really is. If I had to think of like my runner-up real quick, I'd say Gen 2 might be my runner-up. I mean, I love some of the new Pokemon designs in like the other generations, but the problem is Gen 5 has a very weird spot for me because it's got a lot in there. It's completely new decks, so you don't have to deal with repeats, but A, it's not spaced out in terms of how you can get Pokemon, and B, it's not it's not the best decks in the world. There are just too many Mons in there, quite frankly. There are just too many. There didn't need to be a complete new 1/5. That's why we don't get as many each generation now. That's why between Gen 6 and 8, there's only like 70 to 80 some odd Mon. I think it was like actually 60 in one of the generations. Like, that's not fun. Like, Gen 5 really screwed us up. That's why I want to do a video at one point explain going into which mon need to be cut to kind of bring down the amount a little bit. Anyway, what's your favorite Oh yeah, sorry. If you in Pokemon, what type of trainer? If I was in Pokemon, what type of trainer would I be? Well, let's be very clear. If I were a Pokemon trainer, I wouldn't be focused on a single type. I'd have a varied team like any sane person would. But if I were to be one type, I mean, it's too easy to say Dragon. Let's take Dragon out of the equation. I'm also not a big fan of fairies, to be honest. I would probably, if I were to pick 3, I would probably be either an electric trainer, an ice trainer, or steel trainer. All those types are really good. Although I do like ghost types too. So, I'd actually swap out the electric for the ghost. Because all 3, because ice is strong against dragon, so I'll have that benefit. Steel's resistant to dragon. Ghost and Steel both have immunities. Ghost actually has 2 immunities, fighting in normal. So, yeah, I'd say either Ghost, Steel, or Ice. Those would be mine. Ice is a bit of a glass cannon type, though. So I have to be careful with that. JRC, hello again. Congrats on 9,000 subscribers. Thank you. Well deserved. I like the feel of this. Hopefully these were not already asked or suggested. I didn't check. So 1 of 11. Let's get into this. If you had the chance to create your own Pokemon region, what types would you choose for your gym leaders and Elite Four? Now here's the fun thing. A while back, I had written out a thing for like a fan. By the way, I'm never writing fan fiction, by the way. But I had written out something, and I'll probably use it actually for whenever I do a Naruto crossover. Info for a Naruto fan fiction. And basically, I had made a region for that. And it is basically the region I would still go with this ideology for the region. So in terms of the gym leader types, I'd say the first one would actually be a dark type gym leader because we only have one and it wasn't even part of the gimmick of the Galar region. He was the one gym leader who didn't do that. So I'd go dark, I'd go ground, I'd go poison, and this is the order that they pop in my head. I'd go fire. What I like about the concept of the fire gym is that it actually would be located in, say, like a cold mountain area, but it's located near hot springs, which makes it a destination in the area. So yeah, I'd go, thinking words here. I'd go, a fire. I'd go, okay, was it poison or psychic next? I think it was psychic, bug, steel, and then dragon as the 8th. Because dragon, dragon's always awesome. In terms of the Elite Four members, that's the trickier one. If I remember correctly what I did, electric fighting, and then what were the other 2? I think water, and then I don't remember the other one. So if I were to just throw a nice random one out there that fits, I guess I would go with, I guess fairy. We'll just throw fairy out there. So that'd be my general creation for a region. If you could replace the tail beast with Kaiju or Pokemon, which Kaiju or Pokemon would you choose? Well, if we're doing Pokemon, I mean, Ninetales is a Ninetales fox, obviously. There is no octopus boar Pokemon, so I can't really replace that per se. It'd probably be like an Octillery, or actually a Grapplock too for the 8 tails. Then the 7 tails would probably be like a Heracross. 6 tails would either be a Macargo, or a Gastrodon, or Gastrodon. I can't think of another slug-based Pokemon besides Macargo, and there's no way it's a Macargo. Although you could make an argument. To be fair, you could make an argument for actually no, it'd be a Goodra. What am I talking about? It'd be a Goodra. The Dolphin Horse, that thing. The 5 tails. Maybe a like Galarian Ponyta or something, or Rapidash or something. That's a difficult one to think about. Especially maybe a standard Rapidash because it does use like a steam release. The Son Goku, the 4 tails, that would probably be like a Darmanitan because it's a fire type, or an Infernape. I believe the 3-tailed turtle would most likely be I'd probably go with a terracotta or oh god, not what is it? The fossil turtle. Um, it's oh god, well, I'm trying to remember. It's a Tortuga and Costa or something like that. Um, then with Nibi, it'd be a fire cat, so really a Litten or honestly a center. Actually, I'd go with maybe like a female Pyroar. um, and then there is no Tanuki Pokemon as far as I know. I mean, technically Sentry is based a little bit off of that, but because of raccoons, I guess you could go like a Zigzagoon, a big Zigzagoon or something like that. If we were talking about Kaiju, well, I mean, there's so many Kaiju like in Pacific. I mean, Godzilla will be in there. You know, the standard ones will be in there. Anyway, 3. Have you seen Zatspel? So, if so, did you like it? I did see Zatspel, and you know what? I do remember liking it. I never finished the series. I remember that, but I did watch Zatspel when it was on Toonami. That was weird. It's like, hey, it's like Pokemon, but we have little doll kids, and you got to read from a book. But that's still kind of fun. But it's still fun. I did like it. So I'm like, yeah, I dug Zatspel. What would Kuwabara Zatspel's? Oh, did I miss that one? Or have I put that in there? Zatspel's. I'll have to. I know. I'll have to. I know I put some of these in there. Oh well. I'll double look at the book later on. What's Kuwabara Zatspel's, Spider-Man's, King Ghidorah's, and Harry Potter's Pokemon team? I couldn't give you an answer to that one right now. I'd have to think on it. If I were to get one defining Pokemon to each of them just right now, Kuwabara would get a Hone Edge because he would have the sword. He doesn't have a shield, so he can't give him Aegis Slash. But the sword is his main thing. So Kuwabara would definitely get a sword. Spider-Man probably... Oh, see, there's several Spider Pokemon, so he probably has an Ariados. He does not have a Galvantula because he doesn't have an electrical power. Miles Morales would give a Galvantula, but Peter Parker does not. King Ghidorah, Hydreigon, obviously. And Harry Potter... Ooh, that one's a little... Noctowl to represent Hedwig. So there you go. Laser Cards. What Laser Cards would Ulquiorra, Kuwabara, Sonosuke from Rurouni Kenshin, and Kagome and Yasha be in? Ulquiorra, just, again, off the top of my head, probably would be a Indigo Lantern due to the fact that he just was a nihilist. His whole idea was nihilism. So he would not be... so he has no sense of compassion. So there you go with that. Kuwabara probably love, but I mean, yeah, he keeps calling himself the Warrior of Love, so I would probably go with that. Sonosuke from Rurouni Kenshin. Ooh, that's a tough one. I'd probably go with Will right off the bat. Yeah. And then Kagome from Inuyasha. That was one of the animes and mangas I never got into. I have a friend who loves it. But, yeah. I would guess, because her feelings for Inuyasha himself, love would be the best example. But there you go. If you were the champion of Kanto, what would your team be, with Dark, Steel, and Fairy types included? My team would probably be a Gyarados. If we're talking about Kanto... and you're not saying Alolan forms. It'd probably be a Gyarados on there. Honestly, Dragonair or Dragonite probably. I would probably go with Magneton because of the Steel form and Electric. Then I would probably have Venusaur. Because he's usually my go-to starter. And then Lapras is making it on the team. And then finally, that Snorlax, because he's kind of a tank. That would be my team. If you were, Pokemon that are Fairy type Pokemon that are evolutions of Gen 1 like Steel are also okay. So I actually didn't finish reading that. So actually, then we're gonna swap out Magneton with Magnezone, and we're actually gonna swap out. 1 second here. Who did I say? We're gonna swap out the Venusaur actually for the Scizor then. So those are my answers then. I remember I asked you about martial arts. Hard to believe that was 8 months ago. Time flies. What is your favorite style? That would be Mantis style and Drunken Monkey style, or Drunken Kung Fu. Uh, those styles have always kind of stuck. Very fast, very flowing, very fluid, but also very unpredictable styles. Those are the styles I gravitate to more than anything else. What if Clockwork Highlander was the chosen one instead of Cole in Mortal Kombat movie? Well, if Clockwork Highlander, as in me, were the chosen one in the Mortal Kombat movie, Clockwork Highlander is screwed. Because while I think I'm a competent fighter, as a true martial artist, I would be screwed in that movie. Absolutely screwed. And this is assuming, by the way, that I am also still the descendant of Scorpion. And the and the one with and still have the same Arcana that he does, so I get that armor. Doesn't really matter. I'm screwed in that fight. I could hold my own better than Kano did. That's for certain in a fight. Like, I wouldn't be stupid enough to let the leg sweep thing happen. Like, okay, the first time maybe, but the second time he tries to do it, honestly, the easiest way. Here's a little combat lesson for you. The easiest way, and I'm actually got my foot for example. The easiest way to stop a leg sweep is just straighten your leg and keep it stable. I mean, so long as they're not like trying to break your leg, the leg sweep isn't going to work. So yeah, there you go for how to counter a leg sweep. I mean, yes, you can jump it too if you want, but that's timing and all that. Anyway, so yeah, that's the martial arts styles I like. And that's What If I Was the Chosen One. Batman Beyond versus Spider-Man Unlimited, not Spider-Man 2099, which I've already done that one, and a Death Battle prediction for when they did that. I'm still going to probably go Batman Beyond. His suit just seems to give him a lot more edge. But that's who and when I've already written down, so don't worry. What if Sasuke learned Sage Mode during Orochimaru's training? If he did, he'd be a lot more dangerous. I don't see, by the end of the series, Sasuke had admitted, at least by the end of the original series, Shippuden, Sasuke had acknowledged Naruto as the stronger of the two, I believe. Like, he said, you won, so I think he acknowledged him as the stronger, more because of, like, everything he stood by for and tried to, help him, than actually being stronger per se. But I think also there was a strength thing involved there. If he had learned Sage Mode, here's the thing. I don't know if Sasuke could learn Sage Mode because of all of his other abilities. I think he being able to keep his chakra in balance would be very difficult, especially when you combine his Sharingan and all that, and his Susanoo and all that. But if he were, it would, I don't think it'd be a huge change, because we saw Sage Mode helped them be able to actually damage, like, say, Six Paths Obito, but that was about it. It actually didn't play a huge factor beyond that point. It would be a boost, but at least at this time, I don't think it'd be a major thing. But again, that's me just giving you the bare answer, bare bones answer for that. Ruby Rose from Ruby versus Tenya Ida from My Hero Academia. Ruby Rose. Ruby Rose has got more abilities under her belt than Tenya does. Tenya's only got some hand-to-hand combat skills and his quirk, which I can't remember. It's basically he's got jet engines in his thighs. And then 11, finally. How are you? I hope you enjoy your vacation. Your dog is adorable. Domino is adorable. She's actually sitting right there right now, sleeping. But yeah, I hope to enjoy my vacation as well. And how are you? I am fine at the moment. That question was actually already asked, but yeah, I'm fine at the moment. So thank you for the questions. Tyson Financial Vlog. Congratulations, man. Glad to be here with you. Glad you're here with us. You also asked, do you enjoy making what ifs? I wouldn't do them if I didn't enjoy it. Just kind of a bare bones thing right there. Trust me, I wouldn't do anything on YouTube if I didn't enjoy it. Don't do something in life if you're not going to enjoy it on some level. Like my job is physically a little demanding, admittedly. Like it is a bit tough on me, but at the same time, I do get to be physical, so I do get a workout, so I'm not out of shape. And I get to see so many cute dogs that come in, and then a lot of them just like want pets and want scritches and want to lick your face. So there is a lot of rewarding nature to my job. So yeah, don't do something in life if you don't enjoy it on some level. You don't have to love it. It doesn't have to be the dream job you've always wanted, but enjoy it on some level. Admittedly, enjoy it on some level. Jotaro Kujo, one of 4. Who do you think would be the best boss to work under? Joker, the Penguin, Bane, Two-Face, or Black Mask? 86 the Joker right out. He'll kill his own man in a heartbeat. The other ones though, because they're all a lot more business oriented. Best boss to work under. Black Mask is a bit ruthless. He'll still punch you. If you watch like Under the Red Hood, he'll just punch you in the face if he's unhappy, or if you've made him unhappy. The Penguin's not. All these guys are going to be kind of complaining to some degree, or vicious to some degree. I'll actually say it's probably going to be Two-Face or Bane. Bane actually seems to appreciate his workers a bit more. Don't get me wrong. If you're under Bane's crew, you're going to be working. You're probably going to be in physical combat. But Bane does seem to actually kind of have appreciation for you. Don't get me wrong. In The Dark Knight Rises, he broke a man's neck. Just, search him, and then I'll kill you next. But those guys kind of screwed up a bit, too. And you brought him here. Wait, he's dead. Well, then show me his body. Go after him. That's how you do a Bane voice. Kind of do a Sean Connery, but then put your hand like this, and because then you get the echo of his mouth, like, why are you here? And say, answer him. I was talking to you. This is Commissioner, and you brought him here. And just search him, and then I'll kill you next. It's like, oh yes, I was wondering what would break first, your spirit. Your body! Like, it's actually really easy to do a Bane impression. But yeah, I'd actually probably go not Dark Knight Rises Bane. I'm talking about comic characters. I'd go comic Bane, surprisingly. And if we go with the Harley Quinn show, I'd still go Bane. Bane's kind of a low-key sweetheart. Who would win, Omni-Man or Superman? Superman. Omni-Man is one of many Superman clones, and there are Superman clones I actually think beat Superman in a fight that they just made stronger than Superman. But ultimately, Superman is much stronger than Omni-Man. Who would Quicksilver outrun Superman? No. Superman is not as fast as someone like the Flash, but he is kind of he's far beyond someone like Quicksilver. He can move at far faster than light speeds when he really wants to. Quicksilver at best can hit light speed, maybe a little above it, but that's about as fast as Quicksilver really gets. But Superman is much far beyond that. Would Genjutsu work on Dragon Ball characters? Yes, because we actually see illusions work on them, or would work on them, when Roshi fought the illusionist character from Universe 4. Now, would they be able to get out of the illusions? Depending on the Genjutsu. Because it's all about, chakra, and which ki is and chakra very much go hand in hand. So you just disrupt your ki a little bit, and you can pretty much get out there. It's also mental... it's also about, your state of mind and, how your mental fortitude. So, yeah, I think it would work on Dragon Ball characters. And some of them, like the Infinite Tsukiyomi or Tsukiyomi itself, would be extremely dangerous on them. But ultimately, yeah, I think it would work. Carson Heineko, have you watched Ruby? And if so, who's your favorite character? I have not. I'm actually not a big fan of Ruby. Now, let me rephrase that. I've seen like one or two bits of Ruby, and I'm just not that big a fan of it. It's not even the animation style, although I'll say this. The animation style is very odd for me, so maybe that's part of it, but just not my cup of tea, really. So no, I am not. Retsuden Varus. Congratulations on 9,000. Thank you, with a smiley face. Mange Kyosharagan Sasuke, same intel Naruto had, versus Pain. I'm gonna go with Pain on that one, honestly. Amaterasu, he can just Shinra Tensei it away, or he can just absorb it with the Preta Path, quite frankly. Susanoo, again, just absorb the chakra, quite frankly. like, yeah, honestly, surprisingly, unless he's burning away, like, say, in the rocket path, and immediately burns, like, the Deva path to the ground, or somehow is able to kill the Preta path, I actually don't see Sasuke doing very well against Pain. That's my initial take. If I thought on it more, my mind could change. If you could have one Mange killed Sharingan power, what would it be? Let's say you don't go blind. That's an interesting question, because there's multiple powers. It's not just Amaterasu, Tsukuyomi, and Susanoo. We also have Kamui. There is a Mangekyo ability that involved like attraction, metal, like magnetism kind of stuff that with character from Boruto had. I mean, there's Izanami and Izanami too. I'm trying to think what would be the most useful to me. So Tsukuyomi, no. Amaterasu is way too dangerous. Susanoo is too flashy. Honestly, I'd probably go Kamui. I would probably go Kamui. Especially if it got the full ability of Kamui like Obito did, where he can be intangible. So yeah, I'd go Kamui. If you were the Hokage after Hiruzen's death, what would you do differently than Tsunade? Let's say you are the same tier of power. So basically, I am taking the place of Tsunade as Hokage. Minus the fact that I don't have knowledge of what's going on in this circumstance. I gotta still make the choices she makes. I would probably still do the Sasuke retrieval thing. I'll be flat out honest. There wasn't much that Tsunade did that I thought she made a poor choice in. That's the weird thing. Now, if you're asking me this with me having the knowledge of Naruto, that is a different question, but you're not asking me that. Oh, sorry. Same tier power as her with all of your with all my okay. See, that is I misinterpreted that. You are asking with all my knowledge that I have about Naruto. Unfortunately, the Sasuke retrieval, that's still got to go, I think, the same way it does. Because that being said, we know they all survive, and we know here's the thing: if I let them go, or if I don't let them go, that means the Sound 4 is still alive. So that means not only do you have to deal with Sasuke later, you still have to deal with the Sound 4. So I would still probably send them so we get rid of the Sound 4. I see. The problem is that it ultimately all turns out well in the end. So, although the Tsunade Jiraiya thing, I might send someone. I might try to either prevent Jiraiya from going, saying that because we would already technically have intel because I already have all my knowledge on Pain. So, and to prevent Jiraiya from getting killed. It's a good question. I will say that I think the one thing I would do is try to prevent Jiraiya from getting killed. I think that's the big thing I would do. And if I succeeded, then we would prepare immediately for Pain coming in as quick as possible. And with Jiraiya there, he'd probably actually be able to quicken Naruto's training for Sage Mode. Because I would probably insist on that, quite frankly. So that might be the one big thing I would change. Resident Varus also asks, what if Kakashi was sent into the My Hero universe to train Izuku for the 10 months pre-UA? How strong would Izuku be? Congratulations on 9,000 subs. Sharingan could be one hell of a quirk. You would have to limit it to emitter quirks and probably a maximum number of storage. The problem here with that idea is that if we're talking about Kakashi existing from Naruto being sent into My Hero, Sharingan doesn't do a damn thing on quirks. It copies jutsus. It doesn't copy quirks. Quirks aren't jutsus. And even if they did qualify for like ninja, they'd be qualified for bloodline traits, so he still couldn't copy them. Now, if Kakashi, by the way, this is in the what if, so don't worry. I'll do a more extended version of this. If he were to train Izuku, while All Might's training him as well, that, because he'd probably be training him to try to access chakra and chakra control, this might actually lend to Izuku probably getting a better grasp on One for All. He might end up with full cowling before the end of the day. But before the end of the day. Well, that being said, he's still training for he still doesn't get One for All until the end of it. So probably wouldn't have full cowling. I take that back. Although maybe he would. But maybe he'd actually have some, jutsu and stuff like that under his belt. Basic jutsu for Kakashi had to leave. But yeah, it'd be interesting. Izuku would definitely be stronger, but Kakashi wouldn't be copying anything. Shadow King just says, congratulations, thank you. Where are we at for time? We're probably at the hour mark. Yeah, we're past the hour mark. These usually go beyond an hour. Solo Spartan asks, 1 of 6. Congratulations on reaching the big funny Dragon Ball Z number of subscribers. It's always good to be big funny in numbers. 1, Spike Spiegel versus John Wick. I'm going to lean toward John Wick. He's just more dangerous overall. What if Scooby-Doo met Cruella de Vil? This is something I'm surprised hasn't been a real crossover yet because it fits so well. I don't think she wants to make a suit or a coat out of a Great Dane. She wanted to do it out of Dalmatians, not a Great Dane. And the fact that Scooby talks would probably intrigue her. But ultimately, they would just be bringing her down. Like, it'd be the Scooby game bringing down Cruella de Vil. Do you think you would, how do you think you would do in a zombie apocalypse? It depends on the type of zombie apocalypse we're dealing with. If we're talking about just the slow, shambler, walking zombies, I actually feel I'd do okay, because as long as they're not in a group, I would be able to avoid them. And even if they are in a huge group, if they're not running, I just have to keep at a brisk walk away from them until I'm out of their range and eye and sight and all that. So yeah, I would feel like, I just gotta kill the standard zombie every now and then. So I think I'd actually probably handle that kind of zombie apocalypse very well. If we're talking about fast-moving zombie apocalypse, though, like hell, even like Dawn, Army of the Dead that we just had, that might be a bit more trickier to avoid or deal with. I still think I'd probably survive. It'd just be a lot more difficult to do so. Like, unfortunately, Domino probably wouldn't make that. I'm not saying I would eat Domino or anything. I'm saying she probably wouldn't live. How big is your book of who would win and what suggestions? Well, we already went over that. It's a standard notebook, but I only have, in terms of my what ifs, I actually still have a decent amount of room left when it comes to my what ifs. Because I have about, just doing a random count here. I got about a little over a dozen pages left, and there's multiple what ifs, the people's suggestions on each page, so that's double that. That's for my who would win. It's about a little shorter, and I still have a decent amount of room left in it. So there you go. What if Goku's hair permanently grew more and more each time he used Super Saiyan? Well, he would actually have to be he'd actually have to do something that they don't normally do, and that's get a haircut. It'd be funny. Don't get me wrong. How much it grows by, who knows? And then finally, don't have a question, just want to say how awesome you are. Well, thank you. I'd like to believe I'm awesome. Shang Tsung brings in a couple questions. Would Sarah Connor defeat a Xenomorph? Yeah, because she's using firearms a lot from a distance. She could defeat a Xenomorph. Dude, got something caught in my throat. What Lantern Corp does the T-800 belong in? Off the top of my head, I don't know if a machine can qualify for a Lantern Corp. If they can, I would probably go either Fear or Fear. No, it'd be Fear, because I was trying to think of there's the Terminator 2, but those are T-850s, not T-800s. Spawn versus Marvel's Blackheart. I'd have to look into Blackheart more. If I have to go off the top of my head, I'll say Spawn. Whoa, who would do Pokemon? Would you do Pokemon character walkthrough series? For example, Captain America's team. I don't really know what you're asking with that question, Shang Tsung, because I do a character team video every week, and I already did Captain America's. So I don't know what you would mean by Pokemon character walkthrough series for example, are you talking about like the type of trainer they are? Like, are you talking about like if they are a trainer, what type of trainer are they? Are they like a gym leader, elite four? That kind? Is that what you're talking about? Are they a champion? If that's what you're talking about, probably not. I already do the Pokemon character walkthroughs, but I don't I don't think I'd do a secondary series on that. Which would be worse? Joker with the Infinity Gauntlet, Beerus pissed off, or Thanos with the Super Dragon Ball? Oh, it's Thanos with the Super Dragon Balls. Because Thanos with the Super Dragon Balls can give himself the power of the Infinity Gauntlet without having to be in said universe. And the thing with this, the Joker with the Infinity Gauntlet only works within the universe of the Infinity Gauntlet. So the Joker with the Infinity Gauntlet has just a useless glove of gems. Beerus pissed off. Beerus would not destroy the universe. He has the power to, but he wouldn't destroy the universe. He'd obliterate maybe some galaxies. But Thanos with the Super Dragon Balls, quite frankly, if the Super Dragon Balls can grant you any wish, why doesn't anyone ask for infinite amount of wishes? Like seriously, it can grant any wish. So Thanos just like saying, "You grant a wish, give me all the wishes I want." And then that's your most dangerous scenario because he can give himself the power he can give himself the heart of the universe power and beyond. Make himself the strongest being in all of the multiverses. Period. No one is stronger than him. So yeah, really, Zamasu was such an idiot. His plan was stupid, and the wishes he made were stupid. If you just wanted to wipe out, like, you just gotta wipe them out. I don't know. But it's just stronger than the freaking Omni King. Anyway, how would Xenomorph how would a Xenomorph that attached stuff to a Saiyan be like? The thing is, I don't know if you'd like have a Super Saiyan Xenomorph, if that's what you're asking. Although it's not impossible, I imagine. Like if a queen alien, like a queen facehugger attached itself on, and you got a queen Saiyan Xenomorph, and then producing a Saiyan lineage Xenomorph, they'd be a lot stronger than your average Xenomorph. That's for certain, because Saiyans are just naturally kind of stronger than people, normal humans. And if anyone tries to argue that, I basically give you the average power level of a Saiyan in Dragon Ball, was roughly around 1,000, give or take. Because Raditz is considered a low-class Saiyan, and he was still over 1,000 in his power level. Your average human in Dragon Ball was barely in the hundreds. Even Roshi's max power, which we still don't know a full power level on that, what might have been able to take out Raditz, but that's a might. Whereas everyone in Dragon Ball really was not that strong compared to an average Saiyan. Even low-class Saiyans were like in the mid-hundreds. So, yeah, the average Saiyan outclassed the average human in Dragon Ball easy. But it is clear they feel emotions. Xenomorphs do feel emotions. It's mostly primal, like, nurturing their young and, hunger and anger, but they still feel them. So that'd be a very dangerous creation. You're a sick man. Okay, Parker Smith, 1 of 8. Congratulations on 9K. Thank you. What if all of your 9K subscribers gave you a question? Given the amount of questions I have, it's almost like, okay, if all my subscribers, gave me questions, I'd have to do multiple part Q&As. Like that would, like, I haven't even gone through, I think, 100 questions. We'd never get through those Q&As. I have to do one like every day. Question 2, Hulk with a red lantern ring versus Cap with a blue lantern ring and Iron Man with a green lantern ring. Hulk starts as Banner, and all three of them have all the required training. The problem is Banner would not qualify for a red lantern ring. Banner is a separate entity from the Hulk. Hulk is very much an alter ego. He's very much his own separate entity. The Hulk gets the red lantern ring. If you're asking about who wins, it's going to be a blue ring Cap and green ring Iron Man. And that's due to the fact that blue lanterns are actually used to kind of subside red lanterns and alleviate. They can actually restore a red lantern's heart. So ultimately, yeah, it would be Cap and Iron Man with the blue and green respectively. Is there a what if or who would win you want to do, but we'll probably never get the chance to do it? No, I don't think so. I'll get a chance eventually to do all of them. If no one ever gave you any more ideas and you weren't able to do your own ideas, okay, how long would it take you to run out of material? Years. I couldn't give you an exact number, but years. I got enough to go for a good long while if no one ever gave me any suggestions ever again. Number 5. Is there a what-if idea where the change is small and minor, but there are massive differences to canon? Is there a what-if idea with a seemingly big major change, but are relatively few in differences? For example, second one, what if Haku was actually a girl? As you said, basically changed nothing. Well, yeah, that's a perfect example of the big change that changes nothing. A minor change, basically a butterfly effect what if, where it's a minor, small change with a huge, with a huge change, ultimately. I'd probably say it is. See, the problem is what do you define as a minor change? Like a minor change could be a lot of things. Like Naruto wears green instead of orange. That's a minor change. What does that ultimately change anything in a drastic way? Probably not. If Naruto got a different summoning contract, that could be a minor, but that's a major change also. The problem is it's hard to define what a minor change is on that. So it's a good question. I just can't think of a good example of that. What are some abilities and powers that would be really OP if put together? For example, Kaioken and instant healing abilities, or Shadow Clone with the fusion dance, provided that it's possible to fuse with a clone, that is. I don't see a reason why it wouldn't be possible. I don't see a reason either, but at the same time, the problem is with the clone is that you would be basically cutting your own power in half, only then to multiply it further. And then how does the fusion dance wear off with the clone? Like, I'm guessing because you've got a main body and clone together, a hit doesn't take down the clone, or it doesn't take the body down. In terms of abilities that would be hacked with each other, instant regeneration and say one for all would actually be really great together, because Deku would just be able to instantly heal from any of his injuries. And furthermore, if you want to go more in depth into that, instant healing with what was I just thinking of? Wow, I just blanked on that. Sorry, but like instant healing, Kaioken, and All for One stacked on each other. Kaioken and Super Saiyan, if that could be done, that'd be messed up. Teleportation and spatial distortion. What I mean by that is when you teleport, you actually are taking that literal chunk of space itself with you, basically leaving a hole in the fabric of the reality. You could return it if you want, but still it'd be very dangerous. Question 7. Planet Vegeta, before Frieza destroyed it, and Planet Namek are each given 100 years to train and yet get as powerful as possible. They can use any training methods as they wish, and they will have no outside help. They can't use the Dragon Balls in any way. That's going to be Planet Vegeta. Even though there is a forbidden technique that fuses the Namekians together, what we saw with both Piccolo Nail and the Universe 6 Namekians, there's very few warrior Namekians. Warrior Namekians are actually very rare, whereas the entire Saiyan race are warriors. And given enough time to train, I could see someone even hitting Super Saiyan in 100 years time to train. Yeah, they get Super Saiyan. So yeah, it's going to be, even if Guru unlocked all of the Namekians' hidden potential, warriors and whatnot, it still would be the Saiyans. It'd be the Saiyans. And then Naruto versus Luffy, Naruto. Yeah, that's just Naruto. Wade Wilson asks, 1 of 6. Who do you think the master of prep time is? Batman, Mr. Fantastic, or Rick Sanchez? The problem is they're from very different universes. If you give them each an even playing field to work with, it's probably going to be Batman. Rick is probably smarter than Batman, but we got to give them all an even playing field. And Batman probably could understand Rick's technology after a little trial and error. So, yeah, I'd go Batman. Could Darkseid solo Dragon Ball Super and / other universes? Solo. No. No, he could not. Because he is a universal, actually a multiversal being in many ways. But Goku and Vegeta and Beerus alone could at least give him a really firm fight. Broly as well. And worst case scenario, if he's someone who's that big a threat, Zeno can come in and just erase him. Because Zeno can erase an entire universe in an instant. Even though Darkseid's true form can literally destroy a universe, Zeno can literally just erase Darkseid in an instant. So I would say that no, he would not solo Dragon Ball Super Universe. In fact, they would actually pose a serious threat to him. Well, like together, they could probably beat him. And even on their own, if he doesn't use any like Omega effect or anything like that, they could still maybe beat him in a fight. Maybe. Who do you think is better teacher? Oh, who do you think is better teacher for Naruto? That's tough. I am gonna say Kakashi in Shippuden was a much better teacher than in Part 1. Jiraiya in Part 1 was a much better teacher than in Part 2. But then you get Fukushima. Fukasu. Fukasu. The Toad that taught. I'd go with the Toad that taught him the Sage Mode. He taught it to him and he made it understand in a way that worked. I'd go Kakashi though immediately after that though. He seemed to teach Naruto, have the best time teaching Naruto. Oh, there's also Killer Bee too. I got to factor Killer Bee in also. I'll go the Toad. I'll go the old man Toad. Who do you think is the best? Who would win Ghost Rider Spawn versus Trigon? I was going to say, if it was Ghost Rider versus Spawn, I already did that video. Ghost Rider Spawn versus Trigon, Ghost Rider Spawn. Would you rather have the Mother Box, or sorry, I'd probably say rather have the Mother Box from the Infinity Gauntlet. Assuming the Infinity Gauntlet works in my universe, the Infinity Gauntlet. Their Mother Box has like near infinite energy, but it doesn't. I mean, it opens up portals and can do some stuff. But the Infinity Gauntlet can essentially do whatever the Mother Box does, to a certain degree. They can open portals to places, all that. Granted, the Infinity Gauntlet has to be working in my universe. But yeah, I do the Infinity Gauntlet because I can honestly just anyone with a Mother Box try to do anything to me, I can just get rid of the Mother Box. What are your typical Pokemon starter team? My typical Pokemon starter team? Are you talking about a team made up of starters? If I was a team made up of starters, you're not giving me, because I gotta have at least 2 of each type on the team. I will go though, if you're gonna ask me that, Infernape. I like Blaziken, but Infernape's cooler. Sceptile. I will go Decidueye, Greninja. After that's a little bit tougher. Primarina. And then my final fire type, John. Here's my final fire type. My final fire type would probably be Charizard. So that'd be my starter team. So yeah. Wade Wilson asks, would Kakashi teach Deku better to use One for All? If he were teaching him, yeah, because he's a ninja, he teaches from a different perspective. So yeah, I'd say he could teach him to use One for All a bit more effectively. Could Infinity Gauntlet overpower Dragon Ball Super Dragon? Not the Super Dragon Ball, but Dragon Ball Super Dragon. I'm guessing you're asking about the Super Shenron. Probably not. The Dragon Balls can be destroyed though. We see that Zamasu did that. So actually, yes, it could probably. Because the Shenron's power is his ability to grant any wish, but he's not to say what she has all that power. But yeah, I'll take that for what it's worth. I'd say yes, the Infinity Gauntlet could if it was working. That's the catch. The Infinity Gauntlet has to be working. Because Omega Shenron's so big, the universe, there's galaxies just surrounding him. That's how big Omega Shenron is. Not Mega Shenron, Super Shenron. Who would win, Ichigo, Yusuke, or Urameshi? Ooh. We know Yusuke Urameshi is capable of destroying a planet. Is Ichigo? That's a good question. I would say, yeah, I would go argue Ichigo probably over Yusuke. Just due to the fact that when we see the levels of power dealing with in the final arc, and Ichigo was considered a threat to Yuak, who was kind of a multiversal being at that point, Yeah, I'd argue that Ichigo's probably stronger. Probably not, maybe not by a huge margin, but he's probably stronger. Would Orochimaru still be evil if he was made the Hokage? And again, that's a good question. I will say maybe. In fact, I will say yes. I'd say yeah, he'd still be evil. It might take a bit longer for that evil to come out, but he'd still be evil. Ichigo Kurosaki, what's Jason Voorhees' Lantern Corp? Oh, at the moment, if you were to just, and I put that in, don't worry. But I would say death is probably a given. But it also depends on the version of Jason you're looking at. That's the catch. But I'll say death is probably the most likely one. Who do you think killed the most people? Michael Myers, Freddy Krueger, Leatherface, Jason Voorhees, or Chucky? You know, it's probably actually videos that had this kill counts on for these guys. Who's killed the most people? It's got to be either, weirdly enough, Chucky's right out of there. It's also, Michael Myers is also right out of there. Jason Voorhees has killed a lot of people. Freddy Krueger, also a lot of people. But weirdly enough, I might say Leatherface, because we have no idea how long their family has been operating and how many times they've killed and eaten people. I might, weirdly enough, go Leatherface on that. Now, if we're going by strictly just what we see in the movies, that is a different thing. And I would say it's got to then be either Jason or Freddy. Given the fact that Jason had more movies, I'll go Jason. So there you go. Who would win, Obito Uchiha or Darth Vader? Obito Uchiha. He's more varied. He's just more versatile. In fact, he can go intangible. Makes it very difficult for Vader to actually do anything. So there you go. What if Naruto was the reincarnation of Ewok? Well, that's a what if on its own. If he was, then Naruto's universe is going to get screwed over by this kid. How well do you think Friday the 13th? Do you think Friday the 13th? I think you meant to ask, how well do you think I do in Friday the 13th? Probably not. I mean, let's be honest. If I'm aware I'm in Friday the 13th, I would probably be very much like, okay, I'm staying away from Camp Crystal Lake and Manhattan and space. So, very well. But if I'm one of the kids there, I'm like, oh God, I have to keep my wits about me. Like, okay, I know Jason's here. I got to be very fucking careful. It's like some girls hitting on me like, can I do that? Can I get laid without dying? No, don't tempt me. Anyway, so yeah, it also depends which movie you're talking about too. If we're talking about just the original, actually, I think I'd do pretty well because I'm not an idiot to be like sleeping on the top bunk like freaking Kevin Bacon was. So yeah, and I know Pamela Voorhees is the killer. So yeah, there you go. Why does nothing work? Asks, what if you were in Naruto or My Hero? Well, those are what ifs I've already got down the line. Yes, obviously, if it's just me, then it's going to be a pretty boring what if. If I'm a ninja or have a quirk, that's where it gets to be. That's where it gets to be more interesting. Sheridan Road again asks, assuming DBZ characters didn't have their power levels rubber banded to stay comparable to Goku and Vegeta, who would you have on Universe 7's team a tournament of power? Well, to be honest, still be the same people. They're still competent fighters. They just wouldn't be as strong as they were. How would the canon Universe 7 team do if they weren't graded on a curve for nostalgia's sake? See, I mean, I get what you're saying with that, but what's to say they wouldn't get stronger? Like, I get the whole rubber band to stay comparative to Goku and Vegeta. Most of them weren't comparative to Goku and Vegeta. 17 was the closest one who was comparative to Goku and Vegeta. I mean, Frieza too, but that's Frieza. That's different. That's a completely different thing. Yeah, I mean, it's none of them except for 17. And 17 is an android, and really, Goku only went Super Saiyan Blue, is at least in the manga, so he didn't outright kill 17. It's not like these guys were that much stronger or that much comparative to Goku. So I get why you asked the question, but I honestly don't see their increase of strength any sort of detriment whatsoever, or any sort of cop out or rubber banding, if you will. So that's just my opinion, though. Slim Shady, will you please stand up? Do you put what if? Okay. Do you put what if and who would win in a book or a different book? Oh, in the same book or different books? Well, you've already seen several times. They're in different books. In fact, all my types of videos do Lantern Corps, Pokemon, what ifs, and who would wins are in different books. Ukiura solo the Naruto verse. Solo might be. Solo's a hard one to say. Would he be? Naruto and Sasuke and Kaguya and all the heavy hitters are going to be the biggest problems. I don't think so. I think he would be extremely dangerous. And it would take the efforts of both Sasuke and Naruto to put him down if they could. But no, I don't know if he would solo. But he would be a threat. Most Bleach characters I do think are overall stronger than Naruto characters, and that includes Ichigo over Naruto. And I'll hear no one who says differently about the death battle. I think that death battle was kind of a. I do like death battle, enjoy it very much, but I do think that was a very mishmatched match. Anyway, do you read Image comics? I do have a couple Image comics, but they were just comics that my dad found and gave to me. I do not openly read Image comic, no. Could Pain solo the 5 Kage? That depends. Which 5 Kage are we talking about? If we're talking about the 5 Kage from Shippuden, probably not. Between Onoiki and A, yeah, probably not actually. A's speed would be enough to take. I think in terms of raw speed, it'd be enough to take down Davapath, quite frankly. Gravity release dust release is freaking dangerous. So them together alone is quite powerful and very impressive. Would Leaf Village be better with Minato as the instead of the third? It's impossible until I do a what if on what if Minato survived. It's impossible to say how he would have done as Hokage. It is. Even then, when I do that what if, it's still impossible to actually say in terms of the canon. Justin Owanzo, who would win, the Dark Knight Universe Batman or versus the Avengers? You meant do you mean the Dark Knight Metal arc? That's what Sheridan wrote. Dark Knight Universe, because the Dark Knight, you say Dark Knight Universe Batman, because if you're talking about the Dark Knight Universe Batman from the movies, oh yeah, the Avengers win. Talking about the Dark Knight, like Dark Knight's Metal arc, then it's the Dark Knight Metal arc. Batman is one of the most dangerous mother effers in any comic because he's that prepared and that paranoid and usually has one up. If you give him then the abilities of the insanity of the Joker, the abilities of a Doomsday or an Aquaman or a Lantern, then you are dealing with, or Ares, then you're dealing with a group that the Avengers cannot compete against. Just cannot. So yeah, it'd be the Dark Knight Metal Batmans. Legend 5446 just says congratulations, thank you. Shaheen Bagdasari says, are you going to do my who would win video request next? Please reply back. Now, so yeah, this is one of those things where occasionally you'll get someone, in this case it's Shaheen, who is, I guess, a little impatient for their, who would win to be brought up. And to be fair, I get it. I absolutely get it. Or the suggestion bureau. But I do. So here's the thing, Shaheen. In the book, I'm like, this is. I had to read because I eventually restarted my, the who would wins and whatnot. So right now, this is where I am in my who would win book right here, my who would win notebook. Now, if I remember correctly, I did do one of yours a few months back, which means I already did one of yours. So I'm not saying that I'll never do one of yours again, but I'm just saying. Just because you ask, and again, unless your birthday's coming up, I'll do it for your birthday. And don't lie about when your birthday is, just to get me to do your thing. It's like, my birthday is this week and next week, and the next week. It's like, really, multiple birthdays, good for you. So yeah, in the book, because of when I updated the book, this is where you are in the book. So there's a large distance between your suggestions and where I currently am. I'm not trying to disclude you or not include you in things or not do your videos. It's just that you have to, folks have to understand there are hundreds of other people, and I'm not joking, hundreds of people who have their suggestions asked, and I already answered did one of your videos a good couple months back. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be doing one of your, unless it coincides with someone else's, basically, multiple kind of things. Multiple people asking the same one, then I'll get around to it, obviously. But until then, you're just going to have to be patient. Now, luckily, unlike with the week of what ifs, where I'm really just doing a couple extra ones and multiple parts of the same two, week of what wins lets me, hammer through a lot more quickly. So it's not going to be as long as you might think, especially because some people, and I'm not going to point out names or anything, give me this many in terms of suggestions. So that's taking up multiple pages. So it's actually a lot quicker to get through the who would wins and get to other people again than it is for the what ifs. So yeah, that's my answer on that, Shireen. I'm not going to be getting any requests right now unless they're also requested by someone else. So J God, how would you rate the DCEU? Now, let's be very clear. I do like the DCEU as a whole, but I'm not stupid to say that it's perfect. No, not at all. How would I rewrite it? Man of Steel, I actually think is pretty solid on its own. Although I might rewrite the whole putting the sun on the pedestal thing that Jonathan Kent was doing. Yeah, damn, I've been talking for too long. My voice is starting to go. I might rewrite that part. Batman v Superman, though, needs a lot of rewrite. If I'm going to be honest, I rewrite Batman v Superman. I would still have Lex pitting them against each other, but I would not have Jesse Eisenberg, Lex Luthor. I'm sorry, I would not do that. That was a mistake. I get what he's going for, but that was a mistake. I would probably go with a more mature, business-minded, grown man, person, Lex Luthor. I would also have a bit more of a confrontation of ideologies between them, Batman and Superman. I would actually have Batman and Superman talk a little bit about why they don't agree with each other, and kind of and have that dichotomy. But I was still, honestly, I like the fight. The fight between them legitimately was good. And I would not have Doomsday. The Doomsday thing was stupid as hell. So yeah, I may, now maybe you could have Doomsday as honestly, that's not a bad idea, having it as a Justice League villain or something like that. Or in a Man of Steel 2, have basically Lex Luthor creating Doomsday. And the guys, I actually don't mind the idea of the Doomsday thing. But the way they did it just didn't work. And the fact that he did not look good either. He looked terrible, especially when he first came. Yeah, he kept growing the bones and stuff like that, but that did not look good. I would not kill Superman off either. Would I have Wonder Woman in there? That's the other thing. You know what? What I would maybe do instead is have an Amazo. That I think could be a lot cooler. Have an Amazo that's copying Batman and Superman, and Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman. Copying. Hey, yo, Poppy, get the Poppy speech. You being a good girl, just relaxing on the couch. Yeah, I love you. Yes, more. So maybe I'd have an Amazo, and if you were to kill Superman that way, maybe do it that way. But I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would use. One second. Don't be someone. No, someone. Okay. Because I do not want to restart this video. So yeah, and so I wouldn't kill Superman. Or maybe Amazo puts him into in a coma or something like that. Whatever. Suicide Squad. I would. And here's the puppy. The problem is, I'd probably make Joker a bit more prevalent. I'd probably design the story to have Joker be a bit more of a threat. And I'd make the Enchantress just more interesting. Then with Wonder Woman actually, the only thing I would do with, honestly, no joke, hi puppy. Hi, I'm on the video now too. Honestly, the only thing I would do different with Wonder Woman, and no joke, the only thing I'd do different with Wonder Woman is that when Ares becomes Ares. Basically black out his face while he's wearing the mask. That's the only thing I do different. You have the glowing eyes like you do in the comics. That's the only thing I do different. Justice League. And if we're going by what the Snyder cut did, not what Joss Whedon did, not the theatrical cut. I don't know. I mean, it makes Steppenwolf a bit more of an interesting character. I like his design actually more in the Snyder cut than I did in the theatrical cut. And, you know, Darkseid showing up, that's cool and all that. But I don't know. That one could stand from a serious rewrite. I just don't know how I would do it. And I wouldn't have Martian Manhunter in there. And I probably wouldn't even have that whole future, you know, post-apocalyptic future thing. So let's see here. Well, we're not going to hit 2 hours, which is good. And then Aquaman. Actually, I keep Aquaman the same. Aquaman was great. I love Aquaman. Shazam. Keep that the same also. I love Shazam. Birds of Prey, though. Okay, now this is just coming from my opinion about how I perceive the film. I don't want to be bashed about my opinion here. But to me, it came off very girl power, man hate. And it's because I think it's because they really made all the men in the movie really just chauvinistic, women-hating jackasses. And you didn't need to do that. Black Mask, I get it. That's Black Mask's character. And Ewan McGregor is probably the best part of that movie. And Margaret Robbie was good in the movie. But also, rename the movie Harley Quinn in the Birds of Prey, because it's Harley Quinn's fucking movie. It's not the Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn. No, it's Harley Quinn's movie. So rename the movie. But frankly, I'm sorry, recast Huntress if you're going to have Huntress. I love Mary Elizabeth Winstead, but she's not very good in the movie. I've had a long time to sit on this. She's not very good in the movie, and I think it's just because of the writing. Either write that character better or recast the actress. Black Canary I liked Black Canary. Montoya I liked Montoya. I did not like the kid. Like, that kid was kind of an idiot. So yeah, that would be my generalization on that. How to rewrite the DCEU, because we haven't, besides the Snyder Cut, we haven't had a DCEU film. Oh, and Wonder Woman 84. I'm not even gonna get into Wonder Woman 84. Oh my god. So yeah, that's how I generally rewrite the DCEU. Maybe that's a video I can do at some point. We're down to our final ones. So I'll actually end off with the big question. Anime Ninja AMVs, do you read comics? I do occasionally. God of Death, what if? What is your favorite Batman villain? Ooh, it's too easy to say the Joker. Though he gets the most, he gets the most screen time and airplay. That's a good question. Hi, Puppy. Hi, Puppy. I like some of the incarnations of Mr. Freeze. Whoa, careful, Puppy, you slipped. I like some of the incarnations of Mr. Freeze. I do. But honestly, it's probably Bane. Bane's always probably been one of my favorites. Shadow King just says, wow, and thanks. No problem. And finally, we have John Coleman asks, what would you do? Would you do a what if about a TV series like Star Trek, Stargate, SG-1, Stargate Atlantis, or a combination of a couple shows like What If Star Trek and Stargate were one? I'm seeing a pattern in what you're asking. It seems to be mostly centered around those ones. And yeah, I do a what if. Someone just got suggested. Here's another question for you. What do you think would happen if Master Roshi wished that Goku was revived with an immortal body to fight this? Careful, Puppy. You're silly. You can't hover on the ledge of the couch, arm of the couch like you used to. You're not tiny anymore. Yes, you're a good girl now. You baby. So yeah. What do you think would happen if Master Roshi had wished Goku back, had been revived with an immortal body, to fight the Saiyans? Would it be kept a secret from Goku? Is something Sheridan wrote asks. That's a good question. And immortality usually comes with a generation. The brief answer to that, Goku becomes the most hacked motherfucker in that entire universe. I mean, he's already technically, but you know what I mean. Like, he becomes even more hacked. So, yeah, that's my answer to that. That, though, is the end of Q&A 9. Now, hopefully, come Q&A 10, I'll have the hot ones, hot sauces, and we'll go do a legitimate hot ones Q&A. But until then, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. I just ruled one Star Wars Super Magic, what if, anything to do on the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get that at some point. Thanks for watching. I got a who would win I also got to do today, and then I'll be done. So thanks for watching. I'll see you later.